suppose I first wanted to be an actor. It was more of a performer. I think the word performer is the word we're going to use here. I was always really into, drama. I was also really into sport. And I think those are both have performance elements inside of them. As sort of time went on, I found myself loving more and more doing the school play and, doing all of that. And then, it got to a stage where I was like, hey, I'm going to audition for this sixth form, and if I get in, I'll do that. And then I got in, which was great, and I ended up doing the 4A level course instead of the drama stream, which is hilarious. But then I was like, okay, if I get into drama school, then I'll really get on this and really pursue it. And I got in, and then sort of the rest was a journey, and here we are. Professional training was definitely it's definitely a choice. I think it's not a prerequisite, I don't think. But it's very beneficial if you go anyway, regardless. I personally had an amazing time. I studied at a conservatoire in a university environment, so I really wanted to get the full experience of going to uni, but also being able to train. And it definitely equipped me with a toolbox for scenarios, but as I say, it's not a prerequisite, it's a toolbox. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So but I definitely had an incredible time. So I think going into the acting world was always the auditions was always the sort of the terrifying, right, you got the sides through from your agent. Okay, here we go, you're gonna put so much pencil on this and do so many notes I can barely see the lines anymore. And sort of going in and doing auditions and doing that sort of that side of the hustle, I suppose, which is an amazing learning experience because you meet so many incredible casting directors and you sort of find your process almost. And I think, landing that first job is obviously always an amazing achievement, and it's always very exciting. And then it's also a great opportunity to sort of put everything that you've been practicing and working on and had it as a vision into practice. The knockbacks are definitely part of it, but in the best way. I think each one is definitely it shouldn't be seen as anything negative. The whole point is of being an actor is to tell the story, to embody the character, and to find the truth. And I think that's our job. And it's almost as if booking the job is sort of the bonus. That's the part where it's like, oh, hey, I get to do this for a little bit longer now. So I think each opportunity to go into any audition room is always, is any time you just get to practice your craft, which is fantastic. And it definitely builds your resilience. And you realize that there are so many factors which just aren't dependent on you. It's almost freeing when you start looking at it that way, and you can go into these rooms and just be like, hey, this is what I have to offer, this is the character that I've, my vision of the character, and let's play, which is great. Going onto the set of Charlie's Angels was really, really exciting. I was filming a TV series at the time, and then I went literally, I think I wrapped on the 31st of August and flew out on the 2nd of September to Berlin to start pre-production. It was so fluid and so streamlined, and they just sort of, everyone on the production wants to make make the ability for you to do your job as easy as possible. So everything's just sort of the same, except just on a bigger scale. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool, this is sound, yep, okay, yep, this is just a lot of, okay, it's just a bigger environment. And there's something that's very almost comforting about the fact that there's so many people who have got your back on a set, which was an incredible experience. And obviously working with such an incredible, group of powerhouse women was great fun, and an incredible roster of, actors as well who just, I've been in the same frame as Patrick Stewart. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, no, it was really fantastic. And especially with that character, with Jane Kano, it was, that was an example of where I sort of went into the audition room and I was like, this is what I have to offer, and this is my idea of the character. So knowing that it was coming from me instead of, what do these people want? When I went on set, I felt comfortable because I was like, oh, hey, I'm just going to do what I did. And Yeah. You liked it in the room, so you'll like it on set, which is cool. And it was great fun. I mean, just having fun with it, yeah. So I didn't actually do chemistry read. I went in and read as Jane. I think there was something very smart by Elizabeth Banks, who directed it, by the fact that these characters, they don't initially have chemistry. They have to find it. So I think there was some sort of method to the madness there. When we went into the room, we were literally just sort of chatting about, our characters, this sort of process sort of thing. And then we just read the script, just read it through, and found new things that we wouldn't have found when we were reading it by ourselves. And that was sort of how it happened. And then, you go home, it marinates, come in with new ideas the next day. And it was very quick. I think we rehearsed for like a week maybe. Pre-production, on the other hand, for stunts was a little longer. But I mean, yeah, it all kind of came together, which was great. And I've just shot Run Sweetheart Run, and that film, which I'm opposite Pilu Asbeck, was sort of a very similar process. It was all very, reading the script together and sort of finding ebb and flow and where the journey goes and how we're gonna, navigate this story. And it just sort of, you find a lot of it as well comes together in the moment on set too, which is part of the magic. The most difficult part of making a film, I think, especially coming from a theatre background, where the story starts and you get to run the whole character's journey through from beginning to end with no stop. The medium of the magical medium of TV and film, you're able to break that linear progression and film things in a totally random order, often location based or actor availability based. So you're doing it totally out of sequence. So just keeping the process for yourself, knowing when you're going into a scene, okay, I'm jumping back from what we've just done, balancing that with night shoots, going for a take after take after take when you're doing action scenes in particular, and like learning how to pace yourself, giving 100% is the skill. But I think the main way to just keep your head in all of that is to just really trust your process and to just trust in yourself as well. You know your character, you know the story, so just trust in it. I do definitely have aspirations to create in other ways from performing, but it's all to do with storytelling. I have a whole book of treatment ideas from before I even knew that I was writing a treatment. Dreams that I've had that I'm like, hey, that is a full production movie there. High production value, let's write this down. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future, but I think definitely. Being on the Rain Dance jury was really great, just because there was just such an incredible spread of stories that were, so original and so new and different and heartbreaking and brilliant and thought-provoking, and in ways that I haven't seen stories been told like that before. I think independent film is an incredible way to showcase that, and it was really exciting. I think it was said really well about Parasite. If you can, just see past the 1-inch bar of subtitles, it opens you into a whole new world of film. And that was one of the examples where that was definitely the case. And I was absolutely enamored by these movies that I saw. And it was an incredible, hours of my life I do not want back. I think film is a magical thing, because not only is it a reflection of our hopes, our desires, our dreams, our failures, our losses, our deepest, darkest places of humanity, and the most bright, incredible stories of success and everything in between. I think it's so important to be able to see that. I think in a lot of people there's that sort of questioning of self There's a lot of the sort of questioning of human nature, of I'm literally speaking as if I'm having an existential crisis, but what I'm getting at is that I think it's so important to be able to see that and reflect that and tell these stories and to find moments, even if you don't relate to an entire story, there's always a moment of something in some character that you see of yourself in them. I think that's so magical that we're able to use these like film technology things to show us in the most incredible ways, and it's also exciting, you know what I mean? You go to the cinema and have that full, it's great. Everyone has their film that makes them go wow, and me personally, I can't remember how old I was, but I was in the cinema with my dad, and I saw James Cameron's Avatar. And there was something so incredible. So that was like a sort of turning point in the way film was at the time. I saw that and it was such a spectacle. And seeing, the actors that worked on that do their thing. I think it was emotion technology, it was just absolutely breathtaking. And I think if you haven't seen that, just to see what they did with that movie was just incredible. Obviously, there are hundreds of other films that I could be like, this one has this, but I think for me personally, a little moment of my little childhood was that.